So we finally figured out why our boat engine keeps filling up with water, and you're not going to believe what we found. If you haven't seen our previous videos, we bought this 21-foot Tahoe Q6 from a Copart auction. It was a flood salvage boat, and we're trying to figure out why the Mercruiser engine keeps filling up with water. Now the boat has a brand new Mercruiser crate engine, a 350, but they used a lot of the old parts from the 305 that was in the boat. But that's not what the issue is. Majority of the time it's going to be your exhaust risers. They're either going to be corroded, cracked, or it's going to be the gasket. But all these look perfect. So we had to dig a little bit deeper. We pulled the heads off, got the intake off, and we pulled a few other things off, and we found some stuff. So let's get the oil drained in the boat. Let's get it hooked up to the truck. Let's get it brought in here, and we're gonna, I'll show you what we found, and then we're gonna get the engine pulled on it. Since we're gonna pull the engine, I'd rather just go ahead and drain the oil right now. It's gonna be a lot easier doing it right here. I got this little tube. All you gotta do is unscrew this, and it's gonna come out. I'm gonna have to do it two-handed. All right, we got that draining. It's draining real slow. It's got a lot of sludge buildup from having water and all that mixed with oil. So that's gonna take a little while. I just want to get that done while it's here and easier instead of on an engine stand. Next I need to get the outdrive up. I got the battery out the boat, and I got it down as far as it'll go with the trailer lowered that far. But I don't feel like packing this humongous battery, this big one right here. So I got this little motorcycle battery. I'm gonna try to use it to raise up the outdrive. That way I can get it up on this concrete and backed in here. Hopefully this little battery works. One of the worst things about working on a boat is all the times you got to go up and down the ladder, climbing in and out the boat, which gets old. Now my wires is not going to really connect to this, so I'm going to try to use these vice grips to hold it on there. Alright, I got the battery all hooked up. Hopefully that's going to be a good enough connection just to run the raise up the outdrive. Alright, here goes. That did it. Disconnect this battery. Alright, it's been draining a while and it's barely anything coming out. There's probably less than a quart's come out so far. It probably has about 7 quarts, 5 quarts of oil and 2 quarts of water in there. So we can go ahead and get this jacked up, get it on a truck. And I need to put a new wheel on here, that way I can kind of push it in my shed. Hopefully it's going to fit in the shed. I didn't even measure that yet, but it has this breakaway front part of the trailer, so I can swing that in. Alright, that should be enough. Looks like we're about an inch too far back. Pull up just an inch. That should do it. What? How is this even possible? Huh? Alright, let's try this again. I don't know how in the world that happened. Let's swap this to trailer mode. This helps out a lot. It lines it right up. Just get that line right on your trailer hook. Got this. I think I might do that tire, that little wheel later. See if this is draining. I just don't know why this is going so slow. It's probably metal and all kind of sludge. That's probably going to take a while. Might have to plug this back up and then drain it in there. Got the boat in. I have to line it up a little better. That hook up there, I got a big beam across here with metal on top of it. and I'm gonna use that to pull the engine. So I gotta center this under that after I get it all unbolted, and I gotta take the out drive off because it has a shaft that goes into the engine, so I gotta pull that off. I only have 4 more bolts holding the engine in, so that'll come out pretty quick. Get it out, then I'll get it on this engine stand, and then we can inspect it a little further. But let me show you what all I found. Well, first, let's change this. I gotta get this on here. Hopefully this is gonna come off pretty easy. Don't look like it. I might have to cut it off. I have to get the torch and cut that. Alright, finally got it. This is a pretty good little impact. I'll put this in the links in the description. It's fairly cheap, and it's a really good one. Robust. I don't know how you pronounce it. Alright, hopefully this is going to fit. Of course, this is smashed in, so I'm going to have to bang that out. This has turned out to be a major job itself. We ain't even got to pull an engine yet. Alright, it fits. Put this in. Let's see. Hopefully I can roll this boat around on this wheel. This thing is heavy. Alright, last thing I want to do before we show you everything that's wrong with this boat. I want to get this pin out. It's stuck. That way I can swing that in and then shut this rolled up door. That way I can lock all this up tonight. And this pin is stuck. And I'm going to put some oil on it. And then the other side has a grease fitting. I'm going to grease that right quick. Hopefully it's going to take some grease. Yeah, it's taking it. It didn't need much. Alright, Kroll came through. Kroll with some good stuff. So the $1 million question is, what happened? Why did the boat sink, fill up with water again after we tried to crank it? Well, we did get it running and it just refilled up with water. So let me show you what all we found, and this is kind of the fun part for me, is trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together and figure out what happened, why it happened, and how to fix it. And this is all kind of new to me, which this is what I like, is learning about it, and just I probably like actually learning more about it than actually doing the work. So just a quick recap. So the engine in here, this boat came with a 4.3 or a 5.0 engine. And this engine here is a 5.7, and I found a tag on the side that it's a year-old remanufactured engine. So they took the 5 liter out and put a 5.7 liter in. And then they took the parts from their 5 liter and put on the 5.7, which that's fine. Like this says 5.0, the intake and the carburetor, which it ran good with the 2-barrel, so it's no issue. And you know, I don't know a ton about these, but I saw the heads have a cooling port here and a cooling port there. It's the Vortec heads, you can tell by the rectangle. After 96 to maybe 2002, I think, was Vortec. But then if you look at the intake, it's a cooling port here and none here, so it didn't match up. So I was curious why. I never seen that before, and then I learned that that's normal, that it just blocks that off. So at first I thought that was the issue, that they put the 5 liter intake on and it didn't match up to this and had water coming out there, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. All engines, all the Vortex blocks that off. So that wasn't a problem. I was thinking this was the problem. Usually 80% of the time is going to be the exhaust risers, but that wasn't the issue. So let me show you. So the first problem is the guy that put this engine in, I guess he bought a crate engine and he just did the engine swap himself. But if you take this off, which I took it off over here, you should have like a butterfly valve right there. That's looks like that. And what it does is fit in there, and it kind of works as a check valve. When you stop your boat, water kind of rushes back in, and that'll come back through your exhaust and get to your cylinders. So he probably took this out thinking he was reducing exhaust drag, but you really need that in there. Then after that, I took the heads off. If you remember, head 3, 5, and 7 had 0 compression. So if you look, I have a blown head gasket between here and here. So that's why 3, 5, and 7 didn't have any compression. But look at this one. Look how the steam just pitted it, and you can see the ring where it busted the piston over time. So it's had a bad head gasket for a long time, and it just steady ate that to pieces. Over here, I didn't have a bad head gasket. I already took it off, and it wasn't leaking. So I don't know what's going on this side, why I had some low compression numbers. So that's it, bad head gasket. And I don't know if that contributed to water getting in and hydrolocking it. That's it. So this is the head gasket pulled off. It's probably the worst I've ever seen. So that's been going on a long time. So really, all I gotta do, I gotta get the outdrive off. That comes off pretty easy. Got a bolt here, a bolt on that side, then there's one on each side back here. And the engine should come out pretty easy. I got all the wiring harness off. Might be a hose or two left, but I'll probably have to pull it up and then twist it sideways to come out of this hole. Oh, and also the head. This head looks pretty good. This one's pretty bad. This valve's bad on it. You can see where the steam pitted all this up. And then I'm sure the deck right here is messed up pretty bad, so this one's gonna be garbage. I can get 2 used heads, $200 I found on Marketplace. So I might buy those if I decide to, if I can rebuild this engine, I'm gonna do that. I wanna get it out and see how bad that cylinder wall is on that, what's that, number 5? See how bad that is, and if it's not scarred up too bad, I'll just rebuild it. All right, to take the engine out, we're first gonna have to pull the outdrive off, and to do that, we're gonna have to take these hydraulic rams off. Little clips on here, then you just hammer this out, the shaft. But before we do all that, I want to open this package I just got in. I've been needing, I think this is the chair. Been using this is broke, pushed all the way down. It's looked really cool on Amazon. It's like a 3-in-1. It's that, it's one of those under the car creepers, and it's like has 2 different chair settings. So let's get this open, check that out, and that's going to help me to get this off. So it says it's actually a 4-in-1. So I don't know what the 4th thing could be. I don't remember being 4-in-1. Name is Croak. They definitely need better PR people. They need some better names for these kind of stuff. Get on Amazon. Let's see how this thing's gonna be. So this is super easy to put together. It's just 6 wheels and 2 bolts. It comes with all the tools you need, but these are flimsy, so you might as well just use a 14mm and a 12mm socket. Makes it a lot easier. Instructions wasn't too bad. The only funny thing, it's good color instructions too, but the only funny thing, it says install the anti-detached ring on the wheel. They mean lock washer. And tighten with spanner. Spanner means wrench. Just little funny little words like that when they try to translate stuff to English. But it's pretty easy to put together. Let's try it out. So this is the one I've had for years. They're both the same length. This one's wider, a little more padding. This one has a 1-inch little pillow. I like this. It has this incline. You just pull this pin. And you can adjust that how you want. Then it goes to chair mode. And then the 2 chair modes, pull the pin. So you got this, which is low to the ground. I guess if you want to do lug nuts or work on the boat. And then you could pull it all the way this way to the bottom's out. And this is a little higher of a seat. Just roll around and work. Pretty cool. So if it's something you think you might like, brand is Kroak, K-R-O-A-K. And I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. Alright, to get this off, I took the pin off on this side already. I don't think I really need to do it on this side, but I will. I think it would just slide out. I should be able to tap this shaft. This bush in here is kind of wore out. A good time to change all of these. Yeah, might as well get a new little bushing kit when I put it back together. So now it's just 3 bolts. Take those nuts off. This whole piece should slide out now to get the shaft out of the back of the engine. Got these 3 nuts off. And take these 3 off. And there is an oil line you have to take off. It's kind of up in here. Let's see. Alright, I think it'd be easier if my trailer was higher up and this outdrive could be perfectly straight. Right now it's kind of cocked up, so the shaft in there is kind of angled, but it'd be easier with 2 people too. But Tyler's at the New Orleans Saints game today, so I'm working by myself. Seems like the new theme is "Where's Tyler?" I tell you, when they get to be teenagers, it's hard to keep them home. So I'm out here a lot by myself now, so I'm gonna just keep trying to wiggle this out. I got it an inch or so out. It's just a slow process, plus it's heavy. I'm hoping if I put it on this chair, that'll help it kind of roll. All right, I got it. Alright, I got a pack put against the wall. Looking at the bellows, looks like they changed the bellows whenever they changed out the engine. And the bearing looks good. Oh, what is this? Oh, these are the exhaust flaps that I showed you was missing. It looks like they fell off. That's interesting. I think that's what it is. That's the flaps that's supposed to be up there, that flap. Could be wrong, I'll figure it out in a minute. But whatever it is, it shouldn't be right here. I don't see the 4th one in there. I'm actually not really sure what this is. If you know, let me know. This is the exhaust flaps that I was thinking that it was, because it's kind of shaped the same way. So I just don't know. I don't know what it could be. And it's only 3, unless the 4th one's down inside the outdrive or it's still stuck somewhere. I'm going to have to figure that out. Yeah, definitely let me know if you know what this could be. Alright, I got the truck hooked up. I'm trying to move it because I'm going to use that hook. So I'm trying to center it over the engine. Had to tie this up so it didn't dig into the concrete when I'm moving it back and forth. And I'm going to just use this chain fall. I think that's like a half ton or 1 ton from Harbor Freight. Cheap one. So I'm going to use that hook, pull the engine. Engine's only, with the heads off, I would say 300 pounds, so it's not going to be an issue. And I got a huge beam up here. I put a metal plate on top, so it'll definitely hold that. So to pull the engine, use this chain and hook it up to some bolts. It should be just disconnect the motor mounts here. Got one in the back. I think I just can loosen it and then slide the engine when these are off. And it may be another hose or two, then I can get the engine out. I'll have to spin it this way to get it to come out. Alright, I had to take the bolts completely out the back here. I was thinking that back part was just opened up and it would slide into it, but I had to take them all the way out. Now I'm going to do these. I got the chain on it, that's where I'm going to pull it from. But this is too far. That's going to make it where I won't be able to get it all the way out. So I'll probably have to reduce that. So let me get these out the bottom and then see what kind of hoses I need to disconnect. Alright, I doubt you'll be able to see this too good. That's what's bad about doing boat videos. It's dark down in this little hole so nobody can really see what's going on. And I think it's best to take the bracket off of the engine. Hopefully the engine's already aligned. That's why I'm leaving this big bracket. That way it should be aligned the exact angle it needs to be. So I got this side. I'm going to do this side over here. And hook up my chain fall. Alright, I got the chain hooked up. Put this on. This is brand new, still tie wrapped. Have to cut that off. Hey, when you work on a boat, it's 50 trips in and out the boat. And as I raise the engine up, I'm gonna probably have to move the boat back and forth some. I got it basically centered. Ain't the best. This thing's tight. Alright, that's my setup. Little change of plans. Originally I was going to try to take these 2 bolts out and then let the engine come out of this bracket. But I missed the bolts. One back here I can't get off, so I'm going to just have to take this one off and let the whole bracket come up with it. Alright, I took that nut off. That was 1 1/8 inch. So now it's coming straight out. I still think I'm going to have a hose that's connected, but I'm going to get that when I raise it up a little more and I can spin the engine. Alright, the engine's free. Spinning around, so I'm going to see what I got connected. Then I'll turn the engine and then pull it straight on out. Alright, so I disconnected this hose. I got a few more I got to do. I want to lose my hose clamps. And then this one, I hope it just snaps apart. Alright, good. Put that up here so it don't drain all this oil out. That should be it. Engine should come straight out. Alright, I think I got it raised up enough to clear that back cover. I only had a few more inches to spare, so I'm going to drive out now, then I can lower it back down. Looks good. I can lower it now. Alright, I'm starting doing a little disassembly. I almost lost that one. I better hold it. Alright. Alright, next I'm going to get this engine coupler off, but I don't know if I'll be able to mount it on my stand today. I don't know if I'm going to have enough bolts. Like I need 3/8 by 16 thread pitch. This is a 1.25 inch. So I'm gonna need 4-inch bolts, 3/8 by 16 thread pitch. Need 4 of them. So I'm gonna get this off. I'll probably have to go to Home Depot or somewhere and get the 4 bolts and washers. That way I can mount it up to the engine stand. Alright, we went to Home Depot. I got these bolts. They didn't have grade 8. All those were sold out, so I had to get this. It's not really the most optimal strength bolt to hold up a 350-pound engine. But we got to make it work. Now I'm going to take the flywheel off. That'll give us enough room, and then we can bolt that up. Heavy. Alright, I got the engine bolted up. It's definitely the wrong bolts. You don't want 4-inch bolts. Way too long. It's bottoming out. So I think 3.5 would work perfect. So I'm gonna go buy those probably on my way home from work tomorrow. I'll get the grade 8 like I'm supposed to and 3.5 inches long, and I'll just change one out at a time. I'm gonna leave tension on this because it's just gonna bend those bolts over and mess up my thread holes. So this is it. Got it out the boat, got it on a stand. Now I can try to figure out what's going on. So let me know what you think I ought to do. Should I just buy a long block and go that route and be done with this engine? Or should I try to rebuild it and see if I can get it running? Or should I take the super cheap approach and just change that one bad piston and that one bad valve, or possibly that one head? If you remember, the boat ran great, even with this bad piston that's missing a lot of the piston. It idled great, but it's just kind of messed up right here. I could probably hone that and fix it. I'm thinking maybe just change this one piston out, and then I'll have a good enough engine. I know that's not optimal, but the boat's really not worth a lot. And all this looks good. Didn't have any head gasket issues over here. I don't know if it'd be fun just to try changing that one piston and possibly fixing this valve. I think it's this one right here that's not seated. It's probably bent on the other side, but it is pitted all in this chamber right here. So I'd probably have to buy a whole nother head. So just keep that head and buy that one and change one piston. I think as far as I'm gonna go with this video, because I really need to get those other bolts, and I'm gonna get them tomorrow and then just change these out, because I don't want to start flipping the engine around and bend those bolts and mess up the threads going into the block. So make sure you comment below what you think I ought to do. I know the right answer is get another long block and go that route, but it may be fun just to try changing one piston. Who knows? But if you got experience doing that, let me know, and we will see you next time.